Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a really exciting video. We're going over the best crops to grow in Palia for February 2024, since there was just an update that brought the Maji market for the Lunar New Year event that was 0.176. We speculated in the trailer that they were going to introduce some new crops. We were right, they introduced Napa cabbage and bok choy, and boy does this change everything for farming. Let's jump right into it. Okay, so here's our spreadsheet. I've rebuilt it from the ground up. I've made it simpler. It fits on one screen now. We're gonna go over this really quickly, but we still have all the same stuff. Days to harvest, number of harvest, days between harvest, and total crops. Total crops is the number of harvests multiplied by the number of crops you get per harvest. So most of these are 2 times 4, but blueberry and peppers are 6, and apples are 16. Total grow days, this is the number of harvests minus 1, because we're going to factor that in later. So number of harvests minus 1 multiplied by the days between harvests, and then we're going to add back in the days to initial harvest. That way we get the full spectrum of how long it takes to grow. So an apple tree takes 30 Palia days to grow. Each Palia day is 1 hour, so basically an apple tree will grow in 30 hours. Regular and quality sell values, we get these straight from the game. And then the regular revenue per day, that is the total number of crops per harvest multiplied by the sell value of that crop, and we divide all of that by the total number of grow days in column H. Same thing for quality as the regular. Seeds per crop, we get this straight out of the game. So tomatoes are 2/3, apples 1 out of every 10. Regular replace value, this is the inverse of seeds per crop multiplied by the sell value, so we just get basically 1. And then a regular profit per day is basically the same thing as revenue, but we subtract out the value of the replacement seed. And we get all of this into profit per day. And then we have this new category called adjusted regular and quality profit per day, and that takes into account the plant size. So most of them are 1x1s, the peppers and blueberries are 2x2s, and apples are 3x3. And yes, that does affect the profit per day. You'll see this is over here. I have to give credit to Knigmatic. She had that in her spreadsheet, and I thought it was just absolutely like an incredible idea. So I kind of am borrowing that, and it makes a lot of sense once you see the data later. Okay, and that is all for selling crops, but what if you want to sell the seeds? So these are all straight numbers from the chart above and from in the game. Regular seed and quality seed value, this is straight from in Palia. And regular profit per day, this is going to be the total number of crops multiplied by the seeds per crop multiplied by the seed value, and then we subtract 1 seed value for replanting. So that is the regular profit and quality profit, and then we have adjusted, again, divided by the plant size. Selling preserves, we have the crop, and then we have the regular and quality sell value per crop, regular and quality preserve value, again, brought in by the game, and the profit for this is the total number of crops multiplied by the sell value, subtracting out the inverse of the seeds per crop multiplied by the value of our preserve, and that gives us our regular and quality profit and the adjusted profit for that as well. Okay, and for those of you who do not like just looking at straight numbers, I've put together this really nice, colorful chart for you to take a look at. On the horizontals, we have the different crop types, so carrots, onions, potatoes, and on the verticals, we have the different selling methods, so crops, seeds, and preserves for both a regular and quality. So this is our regular profit comparison. You'll see we don't really want to look at this one because apples are just through the roof. That is because they sell for a lot of money, you get a lot of them per harvest, but the size of the plant is also 9 tiles big. So to really have a fair comparison, we need to be comparing them per tile size. So we take all of this and we divide it by the plant size. So by apples, we divide it by 9, and we end up getting about 19.2, and you'll see that everything is a bit more adjusted, nothing's crazy anymore, and everything comes out on a fair fight. So from our adjusted profit comparison, you'll see that crops are still not very good to sell. If you can avoid selling straight crops, that's the best thing you can do. Seeds and preserves, it's a bit of a toss-up. I've got a little chart over on the right side over here that tells you whether or not it's better to sell preserves or seeds. And for the most part, it's better to sell preserves, except for the few that you can only sell as seeds, and also potatoes and bok choy. Those are the best to sell as just seeds. So here we have green being the best, red being the worst and yellow being about 50% in the middle. You'll see that everything kind of over here is about yellow-green. We have orange to bright green, and then here is mostly red. So you'll see we have the best crops to grow right now per tile size is bok choy, then potatoes, then rice, and then wheat. Okay, so now we know the best crop to grow per tile of our farming plot, but what is the best layout to grow these crops? Now, all this data is going to be using potatoes because this was the best crop to grow before this update. At the end of it, we'll swap it all over to bok choy and we'll be fine. So if we went through and planted all potatoes, which were the best crop, we would get 2,540 gold per Palia day. Now that's great, but one of the best boosts you can do in the game is the harvest boost. That'll give you a guaranteed 50% increase in profits because you're going to get 3 crops instead of 2. So let's try and throw some of that in here. Rice is the second best crop you can grow. It also gives you a harvest boost, which is awesome. So using our cross method here, we're trying to maximize the number of potatoes that get harvest boosted per rice. We end up with 16 rice and 65 potatoes. And sadly though, not all of these potatoes get a harvest boost. We only have a harvest boost of 1.44, but it brings our gold per day up to 3,392. So that's a really, really good boost just with 16 rice, even though we have less potatoes. But one of the things that let the meta beat us in the last video was that every single thing had a harvest boost, and that really, really helps. So every single thing inside of this tileable 9x9 square can be harvest boosted. So I wanted to do that for my layout and figure out how I can make that even better. So I went through and I put a wheat next to every single rice. And that actually was really great because now it completed the entire field to have a harvest boost. Every single plant here is now harvest boosted. It's fantastic. We bumped our profit from 3,400 to 3,559. So we still made money even though we swapped out some of our potatoes with wheat, which is the third best crop. Except for this time, now I wanted to figure out how can I take this to the next level. I really want, this is cool, but the meta would still beat us. I wanted to go through and beat the meta. And you'll see that we have rice and wheat. That takes up 27 tiles of our 9x9 farming plot. I got one that was 26, so it beats it by 1. And we have the potato, the rice, and the wheat. We have a colorful chart down here. Potato, rice, and wheat, and we managed to sneak out 55 potatoes and 14 rice and 12 wheat. Everything has a harvest boost of 1.5, and this is a quality boost of 1.12, just a sort of general estimation I came up with when I was doing the initial testing for the last video. And now we went from 3,559 to 3,614, and this is what I've been using for about the past month or so preparing for the Maji market. I've been using this layout and it's been making us a lot of money. And so this is finally a crop layout that beats the meta, developed all by myself, all on my own. And now we can convert this over to bok choy. Instead of planting potatoes, we plant the best crop by far, which now is bok choy. And with just regular seeds, we get a profit per day of 4,261. That is a 17.9% increase in profits. And if you go through and convert all of those over to star quality seeds, you can get, if you're at post level 25, you can always get a star quality crop, I believe. Right now I'm at about 93% average, so it's my profit's a little bit lower than this, but your new star quality profit is 5,586 gold per Palia day. Alrighty, so thank you very much for watching the video and learning about all the best crops to grow in Palia in February 2024, that being bok choy, rice, and wheat. If you have any other questions or comments, you can leave them in the comment section down below. And if you learned something, which I really hope you did, consider subscribing and checking out some of the other videos on the channel. And thank you, by the way, to everybody else that has already subscribed. You guys are absolutely amazing. The channel is doing so good right now. Just thank you. Seriously, you guys are just absolutely awesome. I've got some videos in the works about the Maji market for the Lunar New Year event, so if you're interested in those, consider subscribing as well. And maybe share this with a fellow Palian who needs to know the best crops and best farming techniques in 2024. Other than that, have a great day, enjoy the Maji market, enjoy farming, and hopefully I'll see you at one of our live streams. Have a fantastic day and take care. Bye!